Hi students, natural resources. In the last session, we discussed about the sources of irrigation water in Andhra Pradesh. Along with that, we discussed about the natural resources and how human activities are disturbing these natural resources. And here in these natural resources, first we discussed about the water, how we are misusing the water and how we are able to replenish the water in a proper manner. For that, here we discussed about several techniques also, new irrigation techniques, micro irrigation techniques, along with that water storage structures and all. So nowadays, water levels mainly decreasing. So that's why in so many areas in the world, they are giving some restrictions on some activities which are related with water. So especially if you observe Australia, there some restrictions are there on some activities which are related with water. What are those activities? So water, they shouldn't pour water through pipe system on pavements. For pavement cleaning, they shouldn't use the pipeline system, and through pipe they shouldn't wash and clean the pavements. And another one is lawn. Everyone are having lawns in their house, no? So these lawns, they shouldn't water with sprinkling irrigation process. Sprinkler system they shouldn't use to water the lawns. And vehicles cleaning also, or restriction is there on vehicle cleaning also. And along with that, they shouldn't use much more water unnecessarily for some activities. So like this, they are keep some instructions, and they are showing some restrictions also on this usage of water. So in such a way, so many areas in the world are struggling with the water scarcity. So that's why it is everyone's responsibility to use the water in a proper manner without any wastage. So now let us see, when we are able to observe, when we are able to use these resources properly now, then only we are able to transfer those resources to the next generation. Otherwise, next generation will struggle a lot. So in what way we are able to give these resources to the next generation without any damage? That is through sustainable development. So sustainable development is very important to give the resources to the next generation. What is meant by this sustainable development? Let us see on screen, children, with a slide. So sustainable development is development that meet the needs of the present. So we have to use the resources because to meet the needs of now and the present without compromising the ability of future. So how we have to use to reach our needs without spoiling that one, without compromising the source to give to the next generation. In such a way we have to use the natural resources. So such a kind of method only we call it as sustainable development. Sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So in such a manner, we have to pass these natural resources to the next generation. How we got a sufficient amount of resources from our older generation onwards. In the same pattern, without spoilage, we have to give these natural resources to our next generation also. That only we considered as sustainable development. So here is the logo, very important for sustainable development. We need to know regarding to this logo. This is related with sustainable development. So next important resource, that is nothing but, see children, that is nothing but forest. Forest is one of the important natural resource. So it is a renewable resource also. Not only it is a natural resource, it is a renewable resource. So that means if you are utilize any kind of substances in the forest also, forest has the capacity to replace that one. But this one also we are misusing and we are overusing. That is why this renewable forest resource is going to be non-renewable. So, actually it is a renewable resource, but we are cutting the forest acres of area within minutes. But to grow that many acres of forest area takes several years of time. So, that is why we are collapsing and we are destroying a lot. So, that is why it is going to be non-renewable resource. But actually this forest is highly useful for us. In what way the forest is useful for us? In several ways we are using the forest and we are using the forest byproducts. So, fuel wood we will gather. So, different village people, rural people, they used to gather these dry twigs and branches from the forest area, and that one only they will use as a firewood for cooking purpose or for heating water or for whatever it may be. So, like that the forest provide the firewood for us and fodder. So, several animals they depend upon the forest only. So, the people who are living in the agency areas, in the rural areas nearby the forest, the domesticated animals will graze and browse the plants which are present in the forest. So, in that manner the forest provide fodder, that means food for the animals. So, several animals they depend upon this forest only for their food. And fencing. Fences created with trees and shrubs are used in many parts of the world. So, what it is created with the trees and shrubs, that only so many areas they are using. And soil erosion check. So, the soil erosion, the topmost layers of the soil will go along with the high wind and water currents. But this forest area protect the soil from the erosion because it is having the root system. Already you know the plants are having a root system, in that several types also there. Those are helps to bind, to catch the soil particles very tightly. So, like that the forest plants are able to catch the soil particles tightly, they will protect the soil from the erosion. That means soil does not lose its fertility. And soil improvement. So, many types of nutrients the soil will get through plants only, because the which one will drop down from the plant bodies onwards, either that is a leaf or a fruit or a twig or a bud, whatever it may be, it will decomposes and the nutrients again enters into the soil. From the animals also like that only happens. After the death of the animals which are living in the forest, they also decomposes and the nutrients enter into the soil. Like that from the plant onwards, which kind of byproducts will come, those are also enters into the soil particles and it will decomposes and it will enrich the nutrients of the soil. So, like that soil improvement also happens, that is because of the presence of forest. And honey, so many byproducts we are able to get, not only honey, so many fruits, vegetables, spices, tamarind, different kinds of materials are available in the forest. So, to so many people this forest only the livelihood, because they used to collect different substances, items and things from the forest, they will sell in the market and they will get the income. So, honey is such a kind of one of the important substance that we are able to get through forest. In a huge quantity we are able to get from forest. And oxygen, we know very well we need oxygen to breathe. Not only we, in the means all animals, they need oxygen for respiratory process. Not only the animals, even though plants also need oxygen for respiration. That oxygen is provided by forest, that means plants. So, huge amount of plants are present in the forest, no, that is why we are able to get a lot of amount of oxygen from this forest zone onwards. And fruits, so several fruits we will get from forest, not only the fruits, several kinds of food products we are able to get from forest area. Natural habitat for wildlife. So, it is a living area for several types of animals. Some animals will live in the burrows, some of them on the grass, some of them on the moss, some of them are on the trees. So several animals will take shelter, and that is the habitat for a huge amount of organisms. So in all these ways, forest helps for us. Not only this one, forest helps to give rains. So we are able to get rains. Forest transpires. Forest is having so many plants, no? Each and every plant, in the transpiration process, they will expel huge amount of water. Huge amount of water expelled by, that means excess water expelled by the plant with the help of stomata, which are located on leaves. So this is transpiration process. This transpiration process helps a lot for water cycle. So the water enters into the atmosphere in the way of water vapor, that is with the help of transpiration. So that transpiration process, in a heaviest manner we are able to see the transpiration process in forest areas. That is why we will see more rainfall in the forest area. So in such a way, forest is not only helpful to the animals, not only helpful to the humans, it also helps to the environment. We are able to maintain the ecological balance with the help of forest areas, and we are able to get sufficient amount of rainfall, and without changes in any, means without changes in the climatical conditions. So our climatical conditions are more or less same. That is also because of the presence of this greenery only. So when the greenery will present, then only the atmosphere is in a balanced manner, means sufficient amount of carbon dioxide, oxygen, each and every gas is in a balanced manner. That is because of the presence of greenery. More and more greenery that we are able to see in one place, that is nothing but we call it as forest. So forests are called as lungs of earth. These are the lungs of world. So lungs for what sake helpful for us? For respiration. What we need for respiration? Oxygen. From where onwards you are able to get oxygen for respiration? That is from the plants. So where more and more plants, different diversity you are able to observe. In a terrestrial habitat means that is nothing but forest. So forest, jungle, tree, plants produce oxygen we breathe. So it produces sufficient amount of oxygen what the animals and human need for respiration process, children. The next important thing that it is, they are the lungs of the earth. If we destroy them, we will destroy ourselves. You are destroying forest means indirectly we are destroying ourselves only, because if there is no plant, if there is no tree, all these benefits we can't get. We can't get any byproducts, we can't get proper environmental conditions, we can't get rainfall, so we can't get sufficient amount of oxygen. At the same time we can't decrease the carbon dioxide levels also. So that's why forest is very important for us. Consequence of deforestation. So that natural resource we are disturbing, we are destroying such a natural resource. So such a cutting of forest we call it as deforestation. For our purpose, for our need, for our benefit, when we started to cut the forest area, that it leads to severe problem. That is nothing but deforestation. So many problems arise because of the deforestation. Loss of species, several types of animals extinct because of the deforestation, because they loses their shelter, they lost their habitats. So finally organisms will die and they will extinct from the environment. Carbon emissions. So healthy forests help to absorb greenhouse gases and carbon. So forest will absorb huge amount of carbon dioxide. So when it absorbs carbon dioxide, then only greenhouse gases percentage is under the control. Then only our atmospheric temperature is also under the control. When these greenhouse gases are exceeding the limit, then obviously temperatures will increase in the atmosphere. So that's why the carbon emissions are under the control of forest, but when we start to deforestate, then imbalance will happen in this greenhouse gases percentage, that it leads to global warming, And water cycle. So tree play an important role important part in the water cycle, grounding the water in their roots and releasing into the atmosphere. Without the plants, the climate may become drier. So just before only we discussed about this. Through transpiration process, plants expel the water in the form of water vapor. That water vapor helps in the formation of clouds. Again, the cool temperature, that is because of the presence of forest only happens, that it condenses the cloud and we will get water. If we deforestate the forest area, we will break this water cycle and we can't get the rains in a proper manner. So, in this way, several drawbacks we are seeing, that is because of the deforestation. This is one of the human activity. Wantedly we are killing, we are destroying the forest, and we are getting these kind of disadvantages with that. Now, let us see the next important segment, that it is about a person, so who sacrificed her life towards to the environment. She is nothing but, she is none other than Amrita Devi. Amrita Devi. So, she sacrificed her life, not only her life, her 3 daughters are also died to protect the environment. So, see here the guardian angel of the wood, that is Amrita Devi. The true hugger, based on a true story in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. So, this is a real story of Amrita Devi. She proper is Rajasthan, Jodhpur area. What she did, why we call that person in the name of guardian angel of woods? Because she is the first eco warrior of India. Eco warrior of India. She fight against the rules of Jodhpur Raja. So, the king of Jodhpur want to destroy several trees. So, she fight against with that king and she sacrificed her life. So, that is why she called as eco warrior of India. What she did, where she is from? Amrita Devi Bishnoi was a member of Bishnoi community. She comes under Bishnoi community in Rajasthan. In 1731, she sacrificed her life along with 363 others for protection of Kejri trees in Kejrali village near Jodhpur in Rajasthan. So, along with some others, she protected some trees in Jodhpur. So, that is why Amrita Devi is called as eco warrior. So, she fight with a king, not a normal person he is, she fight with a king. So, see here, so Bishnoi community she is, so many people came on the instruction of Jodhpur king. They want to take those trees from Jodhpur because the king want to construct a palace. For that palace construction, they want to take some of the trees which are present nearby the Jodhpur. The trees were to be burned to produce lime because they want to take those trees, from the trees onwards they want to take lime, and with that lime they want to construct a new palace for the king. A local woman called Amrita Devi Bishnoi protested against the tree felling because such acts were prohibited by the Bishnoi religion. So, the destroying of trees are a very bad act in the Bishnoi community. So, that is why she want to protest against to this act. And older people began hugging the trees that were intended to be cut, and many were killed. So, the soldiers came to cut the trees. So, the people which are living in that area, they came and hugged the trees to protect those trees. So, like that they restricted the king's order. So, in that way the Amrita Devi protested against the rule of the king. So, see here 3 children died nearby the trees. Those 3 are the daughters of Amrita Devi. She lost her 3 daughters in this act. So, Amrita Devi sacrificed her life along with her three daughters. So, Ashu, Ratni and Bagu. Ashu, Ratni and Bagu. Three daughters. Those three daughters are also sacrificed their life for the environment. So, when it happens 1730, to save green trees being felled by Maharaja of Jodhpur at a place known as Kejali in Marwar, Rajasthan. Along with her, more than 363 other Bishnois died to save the Kejri trees. So, in this process, so many are died. So, Amrita Devi also sacrificed her three daughters and she sacrificed her life also for this Kejri trees in Jodhpur. So, like that, so many they understood the importance of trees, plants and how they are helps to the environment, how they helps to the animals and how they helps to the total earth. But still we are not realized the importance of the forest. How can we say like that? If you observed 36 million acres of land per year we are destroying, 36 million acres we are destroying every year. How much size it is, you know? This is half of the size of our state. How much size our state it is? In that half of the size area we are clearing and we are conducting this process deforestation for our to reach our needs, to reach our demands and all and all. So, this deforestation especially responsible for 15% of greenhouse gases emission. So, that much greenhouse gases emission that is happening nowadays means that is because of the deforestation only. If the forest area is present, that it is able to absorb all these harmful gases in the environment like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen and all and all. So, when this forest area is not present, then this carbon dioxide levels are increasing day by day, that it leads to the global warming. So, such a way forest we are destroying the forest area, but we need to conserve the forest area. So, by using social forestry, afforestation, and when we start to conserve, when we start to protect the forest area, then only forest area will protect us. You know the Chenchu tribes, we are a well educated person, but still we are destroying the forest. But the tribal people, example is Chenchu tribe. So, if you observe the Chenchu tribe, this tribal people always protect the forest. They also will use the forest in what way, what kind of byproducts are coming from the forest, they will collect those byproducts. They will sell that one in the market and they will get income. But they won't allow anyone to enter into the forest and they won't destroy the forest. But all tribal people are not like that, but Chenchu tribe has that importance. But some of the tribal people are there, they will destroy the forest. In what way? They will conduct zoom farming and all and all. Zoom farming means they will select some area in the forest, they will clear that one, they will burn the trees in that area, they will convert that area in the way of agriculture land. They will conduct agriculture, but they don't know the technology. So, after taking the crop 1 or 2 seasons, then immediately they will change that place, because after 2 or 3 crops, the soil won't contain any kind of nutrients. They don't know how to include the nutrients to the soil. So, they are unable to get any crop. That's why immediately they will move to another place and again they start to clear the area. But Chenchu tribes are not like that. So, we must and should understand the importance of forest, and we will try to implement some laws and act to protect the forest area. Government also should take part in the protection of forest area. Along with the government, the rural people and the tribal people and the normal people who are living in the nearby the forest area, they will try to increase the forest area. That one we call it as afforestation. Along with afforestation, social forestry, and we must and should try to improvise the greenery in our surroundings also. Then only we are able to protect ourselves from different kinds of disturbances what it is happen in the ecosystem and in that particular area. So, in such a way, the forest is one of the important natural resource and it gives so many things for us to lead our life in a comfortable manner. So, that is why it is our responsibility to protect and to increase the forest area. At the same time, we should stop the Deforestation Act also. Along with the forest, one more important resource is soil. We know very well soil helps us in a different ways. So, with the help of soil only, we are taking different kinds of foods. That means we are doing agriculture and we are getting food material. And plants are also able to survive with the help of soil only, because they will get all the nutrients from the soil only. If there is no plant, there is no animal. That is why soil is very important for plants and animals also. Not only that one, children, along with that, soil act like a good habitat. We all are living on the soil only. We are constructing different kinds of buildings, living areas, that is on the soil only. And several organisms, microorganisms also lives on the soil, and several organisms lives in the soil. They will make burrows and they live in the soil. And so like that, the soil act like a big habitat also, terrestrial habitat. And soil provide us different kinds of foods, that also we know very well. Soil provide us different kinds of minerals, ores and all and all. So in all these ways, the soil helps for us. It is also one of the important natural resource. But we are disturbing. So here all we are talking about human activities. When we know our mistakes, then only we are able to overcome that one. So that's why how we are disturbing the human activities, if we know, then we are able to stop that one. We are able to conserve that one with the help of several acts. That's why here we are discussing all these one by one. So mainly the soil we are disturbing. So we are responsible for soil erosion. So the important nutrients and the important things which are present in the soil, those are mostly present on the topmost layers. Those are moving away because of the human activities. So what we are doing and how we are responsible for the soil pollution and for soil erosion. So natural process, water flowing down hills. So natural calamities sometimes responsible for soil erosion, heavy wind, cyclones, and sometimes the hurricanes will come. All these are responsible for soil erosion, floods will come. All these are, we can't stop this one. But if you are observed, the natural calamities also nowadays happening, that is because of the humans. Example already we discussed, that is floods. So floods are the natural calamity only, but nowadays floods are coming because of global warming. For global warming, human is responsible. So, and human activities, overcropping. So we are not giving time to the soil to replenish the nutrients. Season by season we are taking crops. We are not giving at least little gap also to the soil to replenish those nutrients. So that's why overcropping, many more crops we are taking. In ancient days, the people will take only 1 or 2 crops for 1 year. But nowadays we are taking 4 crops. That means, see how much we are utilizing the soil, at the same time we are not replenishing the nutrients. So, but we are replenishing nutrients also, but in what way? That is in the form of chemicals. We are pouring chemical fertilizers, that is also leads to soil pollution only. So, through overcropping we are damaging the soil, and by utilizing the chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, chemical fertilizers also, we are disturbing the texture of the soil, that it leads to soil pollution. Overgrazing, we are leaving the animals in a irresponsible manner on the fields. So they are eating the total plant. Naturally, if you give the fodder to the plant, you will cut only the leaf or stem portion only, but root system it will be present in the soil. But if you are leaving the animals like this on the fields, the animal uproot the entire plant. If it uproot the plant, root system won't be present in that area. If root system not there, no one will bind the soil particles. So, soil erosion happens. So, that is why this overgrazing is also one of the human act that is responsible for soil erosion. Of course, already we discussed deforestation. So, deforestation is also responsible for soil erosion. So, we are disturbing the soil in several ways. Problems caused by soil erosion. Okay, what it will happen with soil erosion means all this will happen, that is because of the soil erosion. Loss of valuable topsoil. Topsoil consists humus. Humus is nothing but decomposed organic matter. So, the died animals, plants, leaves, twigs, so all those will decompose and it convert in the way of humus that is placed on the topsoil. So, because of the soil erosion, we will lose this fertile soil. That means we can't get proper benefit from the agriculture. Plants can't grow, it can't give any yield. So, that is why the soil erosion is one of the biggest problem. So, it gives so many drawbacks. Because of the soil erosion, we can't get proper production from the agricultural areas. Damage to fields. So, when the proper planting system is not there, we won't follow the proper agricultural practices, that it will damage the entire field area. That area will become barren. It is going to be unfit for cultivation. So, that is why we should be cautious, especially on the segment of this soil erosion. Plant productivity decline. Obviously, if there is no nutrients in the soil, we can't get any production. Desertification, we are unable to get a proper income from that. So, to conserve the soil, we have to follow some kind of methods. Counter farming, that means tilling at right angles to the slope of the land. Each ridge acts as a small dam. So, when the slope areas are there we need to construct stepwise manner, then it will protect the soil, it will bind the soil. When you will grow the plants on these slopey areas, those will protect the soil from the erosion. Strip farming, practice alternating strips of closely sown crops with strips of rows crops to slow water flow and increase water absorption. When we are doing agriculture, we need to select different types of plants. They have different kinds of root systems. Those root systems helps to bind the soil. And selective harvesting also protect the soil from the erosion. That means mature trees are harvested and you have to leave off the younger ones. So, you are able to take the crop, at the same time we no need to uproot the plant, that when the plant it will be present, then it will protect the soil. And when you are doing this selective harvesting, when you are taking the mature ones, that it reduces the crowding, that means plant number will decrease, how many are remains in the soil, those are able to grow properly. And this selective cutting system helps to decrease several types of diseases also. When you are removing the older ones, then younger ones will grow normally. So, like this, we are able to conduct some process to protect our soil. So, that is why we need to practice such a kind of methods to protect the soil from the erosion, because it is one of the important natural resource. So, that is today's session, children. In the tomorrow session, we will continue with the diversity and the different kinds of fossil fuels, how we need to protect and how we are able to protect these fossil fuels. Thank you.